Hi guys, welcome to this video where I want to be talking to you about great HR management is about making leaders uncomfortable. So we're into step 5 in the HR and impact blueprint, where I'm talking to you about how do you achieve hyper HR presence. So we're going to get into the you and influence. So what do I want to be talking to you about? Well, I want to be talking to you about how do we, to not always make the leadership team feel comfortable or the business feel comfortable in what's going on. When we think about that, that saying about, nothing grows inside your comfort zone. Here, we want to kind of get leaders to feel a bit uncomfortable. So how do we get them out of their uncomfort zone, or at least get them to the edge of it, to where they want to do something differently? And so that's really what I want to kind of cover in this. And the first point I want to make with you is, do you always present HR information or what you're doing in HR, what HR stands to lose or what HR is gaining? Because that's normally what happens in HR. If we don't do this, this is what we're going to lose. If we do this, this is what we're going to gain. Well, actually, no. When we want to create influence, have that impact, have that influence over the business and the leaders, it's about what the business will lose and what the leadership will lose if we do not do what we want to do in HR. So it's that idea of, when I'm presenting, I want to present to the leadership team and say, listen, if we don't do this, this is what we're going to lose as a business. This is what you will lose as leaders. Now, however, if we do it, there's a flip side, right? This is what we're going to gain. So I want you to kind of think about this in this context now, is now shifting it from HR loss and gain to business and leader gain. So thinking about this in terms of a frame, right? And as you can see here in the example here, how do you present your information? How do you present what you're doing in HR? Are you presenting it in a loss frame? Or are you presenting it in a gain frame? Ideally, you want to be doing both. Yeah, so I'm not saying let's be doom and gloom and tell the business and the leaders, this is what you're going to lose if we don't do this. No, I'm saying balance it, right? So thinking about that, that's the first point. The second point I want to think is to get you to think outside of the box, outside of the HR box, and start to stack it, right? And this is what I'm calling the stacking pyramid, or the uncomfortable stacking pyramid, where I'm starting now to bring in customer. We're going to lose customers. We're going to lose quality. We're going to lose market share. Those are the things that kind of make leaders in the business uncomfortable with knowing that if we don't do this HR transformation process, we're going to lose market share. We're going to lose our most talented people. We're going to decrease our quality. So it's not just about, oh, we're going to lose engagement. We're going to lose our best talent. Yes, it's about the other implications that it has on them as leaders and also on the business. So that's the other thing I want to do. And the final thing I want to share with you in this video is getting them uncomfortable through outcomes. So because it's not all about the activity that we do or the inputs that we do in HR that's really going to create the influence. And let me just quickly explain what I mean by this. So there's lots of stuff that we do, lots of ideas. We have our HR meetings, we get together and we go, oh, that's a good idea. Well, what activity do we need to generate that's going to deliver that idea, right? So we get stuck into this input and activity. And then, of course, there are outputs of the activity. I get it. We do the engagement survey. The output is who's engaged, who's not engaged. We do an exit interview, and the output of that exit interview is we kind of know why that person is leaving. Yes. Or, we're measuring recruitment, and because of those measurements, the output of those measurements, we kind of understand, how many people have been selected, how many people have been regretted, how many people have been interviewed, etc., right? So there are outputs, don't get me wrong, but that's not where our focus should be. And that's not going to get them feeling uncomfortable. We've got to get into outcomes. What is the outcome? So we ran 20 people through leadership training. So what's the output? The output was they learned something about leadership, right? But so what? So what's the outcome? So we've got to get focused on outcomes. If we don't do this, this is the outcome of not doing this. This is what we stand to lose if we do not do this. So when you start to become outcome driven, it starts to have a really powerful effect on the way in which you're influencing. So those are the three things I really wanted you to get focused on. Think about the framework. How are you framing what we're losing or what we're gaining? Yes, the other thing is think about stacking. And then obviously think about being outcome focused rather than input and activity focused. Yes, because ultimately that's what the leadership cares about. What's the outcome of what we're doing, our input and activity in HR, that's going to help me have an easier life as a leader in the business. So hopefully you found that useful. In the next video, I want to be talking to you about how do you make sure you have the right HR data measurements that gets you heard, understood, and actually adds value. So we're going to go into the E in that next video. So in the meantime, take care. See you on the next video.